Characters play an important role when it comes to audience engagement. They are indeed powerful narrative elements that encourage users to connect with events portrayed and hence vicariously enter the story world. This lesson covers the topic of character creation in relation to a brand. Since audiences can access and interact with story worlds, it is possible to take advantage from the use of fictional characters to enhance people in establishing empathic relationship with brands. Now more than ever, the audience is willing to consume contents that are spread across channels, thanks to the emotional link with the characters. The Portuguese writer, producer and director Nuno Bernardo points out that are the characters that encourage an involvement of a user, stimulating the audience engagement. The design process starts from the assumption that people activate connection and develop empathic relationship with the characters of stories. Well-designed characters allow people to empathize with them. The result is that users are encouraged to get involved, transforming their passive attitude into a personal and shareable experience. Moving from the storytelling domain to the branding one, a pivotal point is represented by the idea that characters can stimulate and support the brand's connection with people. In the narratological domain, characters can be seen as narrative entities through which audiences are able to enter into the stories. In the brand domain, people can vicariously experience the brand values through an understanding of characters' emotions and choices. According to these assumptions, it becomes very important to design fictional characters strictly related to the brand as holistic elements, allowing them to support processes of identification. But what does it mean to design a well-shaped and holistic character? In terms of design, providing depth to a character means making it round and realistic, developing a background story and intertwining it not only with a story world created starting from the brand's value and meanings, but also with the other elements that are populating that story world. Therefore, it means to build a character so that some of the values of a brand can be expressed throughout its storyline, such as its past, present and future history, and personality traits. To approach the character building, the key element is represented by the intention and the drivers of each created entity. Indeed, the identification of characters' specific aims allows a brand to create and nourish a communication strategy able to engage the audience, creating a unique and compelling brand identity.
For the character development, we designed one more tool, the so-called character wheel, and we suggested the use of VOGLER'S archetypes. The character wheel is a paper canvas with the aim of defining the characters in terms of inner and external words. The inner circle allows the definition of the internal assets of the character, such as age, gender, ethnicity, nationality, physical and mental skills, and personality. The external circle is intended to describe the character created in terms of environment where he lives, civil status, social class, religion, beliefs, education, work experience, social and recreational habits, and physical appearance. Since the characters created should be able to sustain interactive stories, it is of primary importance to consider the role played by the created identities throughout the story. After the definition of the main features of the character, we suggested to explicit its role within the story, according to archetypes defined by the screenwriter and author Christopher Vogler. Christopher Vogler wrote his seminal screenwriting textbook grounding on the work of mythologist Joseph Campbell. According to them, most stories can be reconducted to a series of standard narrative structures and character archetypes. Vogler identified 7 archetypes that are the most commonly used in storytelling: hero, mentor, threshold guardian, herald, shapeshifter, trickster, and shadow. The hero is the central figure in the story, who is always ready to sacrifice for someone else, no matter what the cost. Example coming from the entertainment world are Luke Skywalker from Star Wars saga and Harry Potter. The mentor is the hero's guide or guiding principles, who plays a key role in making the protagonist realize his or her full potential. the mentor is often portrayed as an old man or woman. Continuing with the previous example, we can mention Obi-Wan Kenobi and Gandalf. The Treasure Guardian stands in the way at important turning points, and it could be a jealous enemy, a gatekeeper, or the hero's own fears and doubts. An example coming from the Harry Potter saga is the Whomping Willow, a tree located on grounds of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry to guard the opening of a secret passage leading to the village of Hogsmeade. The Herald is the one person or event who brings the call to adventure, like the android R2-D2 that brings a message from Princess Leia in Star Wars. The Shapeshifter is a creature who changes shape, not only in terms of physical change, but also of the role. An example is Severus Snape in the Harry Potter saga. We thought he was on the dark side, but in the end we discovered that he should be considered an ally from the beginning. The Trickster is a mischief maker with its own mischievous subconscious that tests the main character and urges others to change. The Trickster always tries to move the story toward his or her favor or benefit. An example is the house elf Dobby in Harry Potter. And finally, the Shadow. The Shadow is every villain and enemy, sometimes an unconscious aspect of the hero's personality, perhaps the enemy within. It is connected the most with our instinctual animal past and is perceived as ruthless, mysterious, disagreeable, and evil. Talking about Star Wars and Harry Potter saga, we have to mention Darth Vader and Lord Voldemort. Moreover, in addition to these functions, there are the allies, which support the hero during the journey, and the so-called magical object, namely the element that makes it possible to overcome difficulties.
To sum up, these archetypes are recurring patterns of human behavior, symbolized by standard types of characters, and they correspond to as much function that can be played into a narrative. In the branding field, such functions can be embedded by several elements without necessarily take the shape of a character. For example, the role of a villain can be portrayed as an overwhelming obstacle that the main protagonist can face with the support of a brand, product, or service. In so doing, the brand can also play the role of an ally or a magical object. That said, each developed character acts and behaves according to the principles that rule its archetype, fitting into the story world built. We need to remember that roles are like archetypes on the move. Indeed, a character can play more than one role throughout the story. Moreover, particular attention has to be paid to structure the narrative as a journey that shows an evolution, stressing how the story spreads through a channel or media, building a sort of user journey that is deep, meaningful, and that presents interaction that impact on the overall experience. According to this, we developed another tool that will be explained in the next lecture.